Welcome back to the show, everybody. As you can see, I like to try different backgrounds, different layouts. First and foremost, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. It really helps the channel out. If you really want to support the channel, you can go here to these apps here, and that actually helps me put back into this channel and keep it going. So we have a huge day. We have tons and tons of breaking news and all kinds of craziness going on in the world. Protest after protest. We got Iran that's protesting. There is a really sad situation going on with the protest over there. And if you haven't heard now, there is a 26-year-old protester. He is, they have tried to find him guilty for something, I guess, protesting. I don't know. But as I was looking into it, guys, they are trying to do a public execution with this young man by hanging him. And guess what? It's already evening time over there today, or afternoon, whatever. So it may be too late. We don't know. Trump has, warned Iran. We're going to get into that as well. We're going to get into The View, just a little bit of The View. Whoopi had the producers had to stop the show on The View and make her, say some things because she was calling these ICE agents the criminals and everybody in the administration. Of course, we know that they've been sued before. CBS has had to pay millions of dollars out. And, frankly, people are sick of their mouth and stuff like that. And Trump clashes with the Greenland's leader or something like that, I've heard. He is sending Marco Rubio and JD Vance to speak with the leaders today because the leader of Greenland has said refused Trump's and the Americans taking over. So I think it's going to be, pretty touchy subject. And so we're going to get into some of those things. Hope you enjoy the channel. Trying to get pushed back in the algorithms. I did do a few things in the YouTube studios, had to re-verify my identity. They said that my advanced settings was set back, so we're hoping they put them back. I'm not for sure. Usually we have lots of people in here, like I said. So we're going to get started with the show with the opening of this, and I hope that every one of you like it.
Let's give the people what they came for.
Let's fucking go.
Get your spectral sock out, nerds. It's gonna get good.
So that used to be my intro. For some reason, it's not a long enough file for me to download it again. I don't get it because I used to have it in my StreamYard on my other channel. And now StreamYard's saying it's not a big enough file to put in as my, intro. I think it's kind of crazy how the StreamYard changes so much stuff, but they did sell the company to Bending Spoons. I think that's what it was called this year. So, and we're going to jump right into it. We're going to jump right into this right here. Listen to what she says.
The violent criminals.
Okay, here we go. Ready?
I think for a lot of people who believe that there's a legitimate law enforcement role that ICE could and should play, this undermines it. Nobody signed up for this.
No,
nobody said this is what we wanted them to do.
Nobody wants this. This is not what you said they were going to be. This is the thing. You said you were going after the bad guys.
They are. They've arrested over 2,000 of them just in Minnesota last month.
As it turn out, the violent criminals seem to be in the agency.
Huh? Yeah, let's see. Wait, right there. Right there.
Oh, she's accusing all of the folks at ICE of being criminals.
They had the producer had to stop the show. She had to come back and remake her marks.
I'm clear.
This lady is a sight.
Sometimes
these women are just
no one watching the hen house.
Huh?
Okay.
Really?
Before you all start blowing into all kinds of other stuff, just know that it's
shame.
Nuance.
What a shame.
Well, I think you meant the account of the lack.
Look at this one. Keeps trying to put her hair blonde. Keeps trying to dye her hair. She wants to be so white. Look at her skin. She hates that, and she's so just like you know what I mean. This lady is a complete. We're going to jump into some of this because we got a new show. They just put out a new show. Let's see, yesterday, and today is Wednesday. So welcome to Hump Day, guys. We're going to do this for just a second. Let me remove this from the studio. We're going to look at these women. Now I think they've got into a little hot water. I really do, because their tone has completely shifted from the other day to yesterday. And we're going to jump into that. And I want to show you something here. Let's get into this. Let's see. Okay. Let's stop it right here. Let's go back to where they're okay. And we're going to just kind of skim through it though. But here's the thing. These ladies are just, like I said, I think they've had to change their tone because the producers are saying, hey, they've done stopped the show the other day. You know what I mean? Like, this is bad. This is bad PR for them. So we're going to try to play some of this.
Death of Renee Good. Minnesota is suing you-know-whose administration over ICE operations in the state.
Now, I want you to listen to Sonny's tone.
Disturbing video of their encounters with ICE.
Sonny's tone is completely different from yesterday and the day before.
Protest. It says so in the Constitution. And you can record folks too. But the question I'm going to ask you.
Yeah, you can record. It is in our Constitution.
What's the line that people shouldn't cross, especially in
well, you can't impede in traffic. You can't block any law enforcement, no matter if they're ICE agents or regular police. You cannot block people with your cars. You cannot throw frozen water bottles that's as hard as a brick at officers. We are a country of law and order. Where does everybody go wrong with that? That's what I don't understand. Why does everybody think that we're a third world country where you can just do what you want? I don't get it. This country is built on laws. If we didn't have these laws, can you imagine how worse that these people would be?
This climate. That's the first question.
You mean the protesters?
Right here. Let's understand what a lawyer's point of view, because she claims she's got a law degree, but really, to me, she's just Sonny. She's an entertainer. She may have a law degree, and she may have practiced law in the past, but she's an entertainer. She's a talk show host that likes to just spit stuff out there, and in my opinion, it's no good for the public.
The people.
Right.
Let's see what Sonny's saying. Sonny, let's see what you got to say.
Are people too?
Yes, but they're not protesting.
Right. That's
so that
these women are. I'm telling you, this is how far the apples fell off the tree with these ladies.
I think you certainly can record in public places.
Yes, you can.
You have to be peaceful and nonviolent. I don't think.
See how much her tone has changed since yesterday? Do you see how much more calm she is? They know they're on that line of they're fixing to get sued again if they keep this rhetoric up.
That it's appropriate to assault an officer, throw things at officers.
See?
But
the mayor of Minnesota and the governor and all these officials, they won't come out there and tell their people that, because they just keep saying, well, they're protecting their neighbors. I mean, he was just on Fox News this morning. They did an interview, the mayor did, that Jacob Frey, whatever his name is, the mayor. And he said the Minnesota people are just protecting their neighbor. Really? They're protecting criminals? They're protecting these illegal, like, really murders and child pedos. And I mean, it's disgusting. I wouldn't hate to know that I live in a community that wants to protect criminals. That's disgusting.
You do have your freedom of speech. So
we do.
Say, I disagree with what you're doing. And if you think about it, we've been peacefully protesting in an organized way for a very long time. And I point to this.
Yeah, since what? Probably 40s, 50s? Maybe even earlier than that. Depression era, different times like that. Yeah, a lot of people's been protesting for centuries, probably. Other countries. But there's a way to do it and there's a way not to do it. When you do it to the point of committing a felony or breaking the law, you're not protesting anymore. You're an agitator. You're violent.
Civil rights movement as an example of it.
Civil rights. We always got to bring up the black issue.
A group of people protesting for civil rights,
Lord,
walking
lady,
across
come
that
on.
bridge, and police officers assaulting those people. They knew
No,
that they
they're
were
not.
probably going to be arrested. They didn't think they were going to be assaulted, but
No.
they were. And it was their right to do what they did. Martin Luther King was there. Faith leaders were there.
Yeah,
And I think that's sort
great
of the
Martin
model
Luther
of
King.
what peaceful
Can I ask a
protesting is.
question?
That
What happens-
freaking was, you know, a complete degenerate. If you really read into his story and his life, he cheated on his wife with some bad women, you know, a lot of crazy stuff. If you look into Martin Luther King, I'm glad they put these people on pedestals as their heroes, you know. And if you do see, I do have the new hat, possibly white, you know, I mean, because CNN and all these leftist mainstream media and stuff, they always say these criminals when they get a picture of, you know, like the bombing, you know, the bombing guy that was arrested. Was it the J6 bomber or whatever? Or they finally arrested him, and Jake Tapper said he's possibly white suspect. Really? He was. He was a black man. Come on.
What happens if one of these ICE
I
agents
decided to get me a
harms
hat made
protester?
saying
You know, they
possibly
just
white,
work with them,
or
whatever.
I made, you
Okay.
know.
Are the others who are protesting allowed to then help him?
No, that's interference.
Unfortunately,
See the difference of their tone? They're not screaming. They're not hollering. They're not, you know, like they usually do. I'm telling you, when that producer stepped in yesterday and said, ladies, or the other day and told Whoopi, you better change that tone, you know, I think they're on thin ice. No pun intended.
So who would help that person
They could
and
come to
prevent
medical
harm?
aid
you can
after
come
the
to medical
fact.
aid afterward, but you don't want to interfere with the detainment. But I will say this: some of the things I think that people are talking about most are about what happened with Renee Good and the car. Right? You have an officer walking up to the
She
car.
drove
saying,
towards
"Get out
an
of the car."
officer.
But I'd like people to realize
Yeah.
that under the Fourth Amendment to the Constitution, it provides that we are safe and secure against unreasonable search and
Unless you're impeding law enforcement. You're a lawyer. You should know this. Unless you are driving your car at an officer, then you are committing a felony.
seizures. in
She
our
should know
persons, our
this.
places, our effects.
Yes,
Now, your
I
car-
agree. And I believe in the Constitution. Trust me. In the Fourth Amendment, I believe in all of them. You can't just believe in one or two and cherry pick which ones you want and then which ones you don't like, because that's what they do. Well, we don't like the Second Amendment, but all of a sudden now they do because they're getting really extreme. But she did. She used her car as a weapon. Plain as, if you look at it by law, not morals, not feelings. If you look at it by the law, he was in the right. The officer was in the right. That truthfully.
It's very similar to your home.
Yes.
I don't think anybody has any qualms with the fact that an officer, an ICE agent, cannot go to your front door, bang on the door, you open up the door, and they say, "Get out." You would never get out. You would close the door.
Well,
You
of
just
course,
wouldn't get out. And
but-
if they were without a warrant.
But she said without a warrant. But most of these, I'd say 99.9%, 100%, they have warrants. They know who they're looking for. The only reason they're having to do this way, I'll tell you why. Because they're a sanctuary city, they're a sanctuary state. They will not allow ICE agents in the jails to arrest these criminals, and they put them back out they release them back out in the public. So now they have to go and hunt them down and do due diligence work, which is fine. That's what they do. They have to go and do, investigate, find these people, these criminals or these illegals, whatever. The state makes it harder. Minnesota's making it harder for these ICE agents, and they wonder why they just sent 1,000 more in. So now there's like 3,000 plus in there.
You would ask for a warrant.
Right.
You would ask, "Am I being detained?"
Well, yeah,
Am
you
I
never
being
open
arrested?
your
You
door.
can remain silent.
That's common.
But in a car, there are some exceptions, and the exception is.
But if they
there's
actually have a
traffic
warrant, they're
violation,
going to knock
yes,
in your
the
door no
officer
matter
can
what,
say,
if
"Get
you
out of the
open
car."
it or not.
It's a
If
lawful
you,
stop. The officer has to have what's called an articulable, reasonable suspicion that you're
Yes.
about to commit a crime or you committed a crime.
okay,
Absent-
so saying a woman driving a SUV at you head on is not a crime. Yes, by law, it's a felony. Impeding law enforcement duties is a criminal offense.
those things. Your car is just like your house.
Yeah.
Imagine if you're in an RV.
Yeah, but we're not
Can
talking
that
about
officer
just the
smash
Fourth
the window?
Amendment. The officer said, "Stop." The one that came up to her door, he told her to get out. The moment he said, "Stop, get out," she was lawfully detained. That means you stop and you get out. That means that officer just lawfully detained you. You cannot go anywhere. That's what that means. Trust me. That's why we have laws. Go read it.
Pull on your
She
RV
should
and
know
say,
better.
"Get out."
She's
No,
just-
the officer.
She's just arguing the Fourth Amendment, which is, we all know. Well, most of us know. If I've got the Constitution right there, I keep it handy everywhere I go. I keep it in my bag or, on me, because I like to know my all my rights. If a situation ever takes place, I want to know this stuff, and I want to be able to not argue with the law enforcement, but I want to know I know my rights, and I promise you, I'm not going to step out the car unless I'm given a lawful order. Now, I'm not going to run out here and run from the law. I'm not going to impede the law. I'm not going to try to stop them from doing their duties. I'm not going to follow them all day and trying to warn all these illegal criminals in the neighborhood that they're coming. I don't do that. These people should be at home or go to work. And then some people are going to say, well, she is at work. She works for these people. She's a protester, a professional, agitator, whatever you want to call it. She chose the wrong job. She chose the wrong.
Cannot. And so in Renee Good's situation, I really believe that, these situations are very fluid, and the officer may have an articulable.
They're different because here's the thing. And to have pulled even with the law, you're looking at it. Even with Sonny or whatever, all of us can look at all the videos, and we can all look at. I mean, seriously, we can. Every one of us can look at all the videos, and we can make our own judgments. But we're looking at 20/20 hindsight. You know what I mean? We're not looking at it as a officer, like the officer standing in front of him. We're not in his position. So we don't really, I can't say that. I don't know about you, but I can't say what I would have done in the situation. I don't know if I would have I don't know if I would have stepped more, if I would have been in front of the vehicle. I'll tell you the truth. I don't know until I was put in that situation. So we can all make judgments. We can all, assume what we would do. But until you're in that moment, I don't believe that any of us really truly would know what we would do if we would, we're recording. Would we react that way? I don't know. Like I said, I really do not. I just don't. I don't know how I would be in that situation. Now, I'm always alert of everything I do, everything, my surroundings. We're going to look here for just a second. We're going to look and see what Trump says about. Let's see. I think this is about Greenland here. Yeah. Playback speed. Let's do that. Let's jump up here. Let's see what he's saying here, guys. We're not going to listen to the whole thing.
We're setting records in manufacturing, going very well. I think people appreciated what I had to say in terms of the numbers. So we're very happy about that. I'm going back to the White House now. We're going to look at the whole situation that's going on in Iran. Good, bad stuff.
Yeah, Iran's really bad right now, guys. Like I said.
Take care of itself for a little while. We have tremendous theft and fraud going on in that state because you have an incompetent governor, grossly incompetent governor, and a corrupt governor.
Yeah.
But we'll straighten that out. But Iran is on my mind when I see the kind of death that is happening over there, we think. So we're going to get some accurate numbers.
Well, like I said earlier, Iran has now announced this 26-year-old's public execution. This protester, just from somewhat of the news and the videos I've seen, there are thousands. They've now, it could be from 10 to 20,000 that's been killed in Iran, the protesters. It's a sad situation. It really is. We think we have it hard over here. Really? I mean, can you imagine 20,000 people laying in the street dead because they just decided to do it? We don't have a clue. Yeah, Renee Good, that was a tragic. That I don't think that it's worth someone's life. She shouldn't have been there. She shouldn't have put herself in that position. You know what I mean? Like, she should have never been in the situation, in my opinion. Now, I know a lot of people have it. I support ICE. You know what I mean? I support Trump. I support the administration, the things. Not everything, but I do support, it's better than Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. I mean, can you imagine if those would have won? Seriously, think about it. You imagine the fraud and Tim Walz over a lot of stuff in the United States. I mean, $19 to $18 billion in fraud just in Minnesota. Can you imagine if he had the keys to the United States? Come on, think about it. That's a wild thing to think about. And now Trump is clashing with Greenland's leader, you know?
About 20 minutes, we'll get some accurate numbers as to what's happening with regard to the killing. The killing looks like it's significant, but we don't know yet for certain. I'll know within 20 minutes.
Yeah, because over there right now it's evening time or nighttime, and they done said that they were going to do the public hanging. This young 26-year-old in Iran, they said it's a public execution. It's wild. It's crazy. I mean, do you think that they will postpone it because Trump has warned them? I don't know.
And we'll act accordingly.
Yeah, we'll act accordingly.
U.S. airstrikes, if it comes to that.
This is what I like about Trump. What he tells the reporters, like, I'm going to tell you my plans. You know?
He will have the result of protecting the protesters.
Well, you never know, do you? You never
See,
know.
listen, she's
So far, my
trying to.
track record's been excellent, but you never know.
Do you think it's going to be something kinetic like that? I know, like cyber or...
Well, I can't tell you that. I know exactly what it would be. We have to make a decision, but I can't be obviously.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you. You really think I'm going to tell a report? Anytime you say I'm a reporter, I'm media, I'm any of that, I'm independent. I'm an independent YouTube. I like, politics, media. I love, to investigate certain things, talk about it. Anytime you say I'm a reporter, I'm media, first and foremost, do you really think the President of the United States is going to tell you his military plan so you can run and splash it all over your news network, all because you're trying to get that story, or the newspaper or social media? That's a good way for it to get right back to our enemies or the leaders of the Iran or whatever. I mean, Trump is not a dumb man. I know a lot of people don't like him, but I'm telling you, his strategy is brilliant. Like, he's going to go big, but he's going small, like military, like no boots on the ground. That's small. Like, hey, we can go big. We can eliminate this situation, by big, bang theory. You know what I mean? But we're going to go small as people, boots on the ground. We don't need 1,000 troops. We need 3. You know what I mean? All you need is 3 motherfuckers. I mean, really, that's it.
Sir, Jamie Dimon said today that it's not a great idea to be chipping away at the Fed's independence. Do you think Jamie Dimon's wrong about that?
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Yeah, Jamie Dimon. Yeah, that's the.
Money that way.
Jamie Dimon also was talking about the 10%.
Okay, let's get through that. He's talking about credit card.
Whether it's Jamie Dimon or
Yeah, he's talking about the
all right.
bank situation.
Say that they're going to be cutting off funding for sanctuary cities on January 1st.
Yes, cutting off.
What kind of
Now, I agree with this. I will say, I agree. Cut off all the funding to these sanctuary states and these cities until they can act proper. And that's just, and the reason people are throwing a fit over Trump, oh God, I got TDS. Because and I've said this many times in the past, is because they have never seen what a president's supposed to do. This is true right here. This is truth. What Trump does is what a president is supposed to do. It's supposed to better America, protect the American citizens and the American citizens' interest, and help us live, fortune, prosper. Seriously, like, he is looking out in the long run as well for the American people. Now, you may not believe it, you may not like it, but here's the thing: he is doing what a president's supposed to do. And the reason people are throwing a fit is because Joe Biden was a mush brain, and who knows who was running his administration. Obama, man, I'm telling you, we almost had, the R word, the black, white, all that issue dead until Obama came in and threw the country back 200 years. I really believe it. He put the country back 200 years when it came to our relationships. And I'm trying not to say and be more outspoken because YouTube is really touchy this year. They changed their terms of service and all the, act according to conduct codes. I truly believe that Trump is trying to really, protect American citizens. He really is. I think he does. I mean, why wouldn't he care? He loves this country. He's from this country. He's born and raised. I mean, come on. He's an American. He's trying to protect the American citizen. We don't need enemies living at our back door. We don't need them close enough to send any kind of weaponry, missiles, or any of that to our country. And the reason he's doing with the Greenland thing is because the Iron Dome. Yes, that is the whole reason. We've bought land before. That's what people don't understand. We've bought land before. And I think a lot of people are like acting all, wackadoodles because they've never seen a president actually do the job he's supposed to do. And this is actually the job he's supposed to do, because Clinton and Bush and all these people never did the real job. I don't think they ever looked out really for the American people's interest.
You'll see. It'll be significant.
Mr. President, on healthcare, is there something that you can do with insurance companies to bring down premiums like you're doing with
Yeah, I'm going to meet with the insurance companies, but I want the money to go directly to the people. It's very simple.
See?
Into a healthcare savings account. But
That's
goods,
good.
it protected intellectual property. Can we
Members about why it's worth the risk to intervene in Iran?
Yeah, Iran said that the last time I blew them up with the nuclear capability, which they don't have any longer. So
Yeah.
Iran said that the last time. They better behave.
See, right there.
really high after you?
They better behave. See, he keeps saying he hasn't got all the information, and I believe him. He probably hasn't. He probably hasn't got all the information of the protest and and what Iran's doing, because they cut the internet for like 5 days or so. They have completely took out. And I'm going to show you this right here, guys. This is like extreme, man. This is sad. I mean, it really is. It's sad. It's sad to know that that they've come to this situation to doing this. So, we're going to jump over here and we're going to listen to what she's saying about the Iranian protest.
My name is Lahara. I'm here to bring you all of the top stories of the day following breaking news from the past several days, and when there's live events, we will take them in full as we do. We do want to start, though, the program with more developments coming out of Iran as I take us back to some of the images that we have continued
Yeah,
to
look
get
at this.
throughout the last
This is
several
wild,
days,
guys.
massive protests against the regime. The Associated Press reporting this, that the head of Iran's judiciary signaled on Wednesday there would be fast trials and executions
Fast trials.
for those detained.
Fast trials. Now, they put this kid on trial, this 26-year-old kid on trial, and within a day they found him guilty, and now they're trying to publicly execute him.
In those nationwide protests, despite a warning from President Trump. The comments from Iran's judiciary chief.
It's wild, man. This is insane.
Could come soon. Already, a bloodied security.
And they say Trump's a dictator. They say Trump's bad. Do you understand what really bad is? I mean, this is bad. Trump is nothing bad. Trump treats Americans great. This is awful. This is sad. Really, this is sad to know that they're doing their citizens like this.
Force crackdown on the demonstrations has killed at least 2,500 people.
My
That's
Lord.
according to the U.S.-based human rights.
That's
activist
just
news
according to
agency.
the USA. At least 2,500 people. I heard this morning it could be from 12 to 20,000. There are body bags, guys, lined up. And I heard another report when I was digging deep, because I like to dig deep into, reports. I don't like to just go off little clips. That the Iranian people were charging the families of the dead money for the bodies because the bullets it cost money for their bullets. So they were charging per bullet in the body. This is no shit. They were charging these families to get their kids or their kids or their family members' body because the bullets cost money and however many bullets was it. I mean, this is crazy. And then they say Trump's bad. No, Trump's not bad. This is bad.
And their reports. That figure, though, it does dwarf the death toll from any other round of protests or arrest in Iran in decades, and recalls the chaos surrounding the country's 1979 Islamic Revolution.
Yeah,
All
the
points
Islamic
that we're gonna get to
Revolution.
in just
And
a
they
moment,
promised
because
them in 1970, they promised them when they came in, we're going to have a democracy. We're going to have a system, blah, blah, blah. Well, you see what they did once they took power. The Saudi, the crown prince or whatever, he ain't been in Iran since 78, 79. I believe he lives in America. He was on Fox News the other day. So he lives here in a nice condo. He is the true crown, Saudi crown prince or whatever he is, Iran, the crown prince. He's never even been back to that country since 78 or 79. He can't go back. And I don't know if I'm sure he wants to. I'm sure he would love to, I mean, he's the true prince. Can you imagine though? I mean,
us now is Jonathan Sayed. He
but
is
these
the
people are sick
Iran
of it. They're
program
tired of
analyst,
their
research analyst there for
their
the
leaders.
Foundation
They're
of
tired of all
Defense
this.
of Democracies. Jonathan, good to have you on this morning.
Good morning. Great to be with you.
All right, so let's just start with what we know about these mass executions and the trials. So
Yeah.
when is that expected to take place? And do we know who exactly may be executed?
Well, yeah,
This has been the Islamic Republic's perhaps most brutal way of addressing protests. The Islamic Republic continues to be the highest executioner per capita, but numerically only second to China. On average, they execute about 1,000 people a year. A lot of times, these individuals
more than
are accused
China.
of political crimes, such as waging war against God. That continues to be the case
Goodness.
right now. But the judiciary's remarks here are really, to this extent, are unprecedented. For them to officially announce that they will fast-track any trial and move forward with executions. And again, we have to keep in mind that the accusations that these protesters are
fast-track the trials and move forward with
espionage. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Effectively met with execution. So
That's
it's a really
that's
precarious
really
time. And as for the
wild,
death
man.
count, I know we've heard numbers that are
That's
about
sad.
2,000 to 3,000, but other estimates are much higher. Given
Now, here's the thing. I believe in certain things. I believe in the execution process. I do. Because I'm a father of 3 daughters and a granddaughter. Let me tell you something. Somebody harmed them. I do believe in the the laws we have. I want to say this though. I don't believe in that system. I believe in our system, but I also believe, because I'm to that point. I think a lot of Americans, and you can disagree with me. You can leave it in the comments, whatever you want to do. I believe a lot of Americans are fed up with the bull crap. I believe a lot of Americans are like, hey, if what happened the other day with the protest, not that, but I'm saying, like, if we would clear out some of our prisons and we would do like the old days, Western days, if you're found guilty of something within 2 days, bring back the courthouse lawn. Let's see, you know what I mean? Like, start getting rid of these people, these really bad people, I think this country would, the crimes would drop dramatically. You understand? Like, they would drop if we wouldn't let people just live for 30 years on death row, and feed them and pay our taxes or paying them. I know any prisoner, most prisons get like $150 to $200 a day per person. I was in prison for 4 years. I know. I made 25 cents an hour in prison. It sucked. I did my time. I've been out 16 years now, 16, 17. I made a mistake when I was in my early 20s. I gave somebody something, a narcotic, and ended up getting in trouble. Never been in trouble a day in my life. Never had a speeding ticket. Still to this day, I've never had anything on my license. I've still never been pulled over. No, none of that. I made one mistake, and now I've had to pay for it my whole life. But I'm talking about hard criminals. These protesters here are not hard criminals. Not all of them. Now, there may be some in there may be some in and out of just like the ones in Minnesota here in America. You have real protesters, and then you have ones that are agitators and criminals. They're just there to stir up, and cause chaos and confusion, and they're hired by these NGOs and these different companies that, protest companies and things. I think Trump's going to try to get to some of that stuff.
Brutal repression tactics of opening fire on protesters and deploying foreign militias.
See, that's not right.
To crack down on
and they act like, yes, Renee Good was that was a really touchy situation. But you don't see the ICE agents out there just open. And I know you're going to say, yeah, they did. They opened fire. One did. You do not see 20 to 30 to 100 ICE officers out there opening fire on all these protests. You don't do it. You don't see that because it ain't happening, and it ain't going to happen. But in that country, Iran, they have different laws. They have they're dictators. Their leaders are not like ours.
It's interesting that you label this entire situation as unprecedented. So, Jonathan, take us back to how
it's wild.
To past protest crackdowns, specifically what
Way
we saw back in
unprecedented.
2019 or 2009.
The similarities between this wave and 2019 is the fact that in both cases, the repression happens under a total internet blackout. But this time, what makes it unprecedented
Yeah,
is the fact
they
that
blacked out the
coupled
whole
with
internet service and everything
there's
for
also
5
electricity
days or
outages
more.
and landline disruptions. So Iranians cannot communicate with each other. They cannot communicate with the outside world. Now, even going further back in 2009, that I was active in the protest.
Breaking news: Trump vows those responsible for the killings of Iranian protesters will pay big. We'll see what he does. You know,
there were still hopes of reform.
We'll have to see what he does.
And even 2022.
Let's see. Let's get down here, buddy.
Alienating the protest and let this die out, given that it's an unprecedented level of opportunity that really the West has to topple the Islamic Republic using an organic internal movement. That they can open fire on protesters without any issue, so long as there's no backlash coming from the international community.
That's crazy.
In Europe, as we've seen, like always, we mostly see condemnations, perhaps 2 sanctions. But again,
that's awful. That's sad.
Your social media post, courtesy
Here's
of
what he
Reuters,
said.
which also
The head of Iran. Yeah. Let's see.
Details how the president is talking to Iranians.
Despite a warning from Trump.
It says Trump urged Iranians to keep protesting and remember the names of those abusing them, saying help is on the way. Iran, in turn, accused Trump of encouraging political destabilization and inciting violence.
Well, I think 40 years or whatever, people's had enough of your leadership, buddy.
Down there on the ground. I want to go back, though, Jonathan, to the fact that communications have been disruptive.
Truthfully.
Now, how effective has that disruption
really dying in dark right now, which means their voices. Ultimately, even if we were to provide them with internet and assuming the internet situation would be solved, it still would not deter the security apparatus from using live round automatic weapons. And
even if we provided them with internet service, it's not going to deter them from doing what they're doing to their protesters. Goodness gracious, man. That's wild. It's a sad situation, man. I mean, it really is. We're gonna look at something else. That's awful, man. I mean, really, that has got to be some. A lot of people say some bad stuff about America, but I'm thankful that I'm an American, that I live in America. I'm thankful we don't have leaders like that. I really am. I'm thankful that we do not have leaders like that. Because I'm telling you right now, if we had leaders like that, we would it would be bad. That would be a bad situation. We're going to jump over here and see if what's his name is live. We're going to see if anybody's live over in Minnesota this morning. Let's see. Let's see where this one is. I'm looking for a lot of Iran stuff going on this morning, guys. A lot of Iran. If you're in that pathway of snow coming in this weekend, you better prepare yourself, guys. Yeah, we got a Greenland invasion. That's what they're saying. Let's see. Is this okay? I think this is live right now. Maybe. Let's see. Maybe I can pull it up here. Let's see here. They're going to hit me any minute. They'll hit me because they don't like people streaming the Associated Press. They don't like people doing their, using their live streams. ICE agents versus protesters live Minneapolis. Okay, clash after ICE agent, unlives woman. And most of you probably seen the video going around. Most of you probably have seen the video going around of the one conservative guy, MAGA guy, whatever you want to call him. Like he folded like 2 or 3 people. I've got the video on my Instagram. You can go check it out over at Ray's Motor Life. It was like him versus 6 or 7 people. Man, he just got tired of the guy. And when you put that bullhorn in somebody's ear, let me tell you something. When you are constantly like, putting that bullhorn in somebody's ear, let me tell you something. That shit even tells on them bullhorns, warning, close to your ear will cause damage. The guy basically was sick of it. He was tired of the bullshit. So he decided to just, go ahead and take care of a few people. We're going to look over here and see if we can find it. I know I've got the clip. Yes, Trump at the factory. He was at the factory, the motor factory yesterday. He did give the bird to a worker that was hollering at him. He was, antagonizing him or whatever. And he said, F you, gave him the bird. We're going to look over here for a minute and see. I did post it. Let's see if I can find it on my post here. Let's see. Let's go to my profile. Okay. This is my profile over here on X. Make sure you go follow it as well, guys. I only got 585 followers. It's a hard platform to grow on. This is another guy that was arrested yesterday. He had a gun on him, one of the protesters. Right here we go. He said, F you, F you, F you, F you. Gives him the bird and waves at the other guy. This is why I like Trump. He does not care. He just doesn't care. See right there? He's blunt, man. Trump's the GOAT, man. I don't care if I like it or disagree or agree. Trump, he doesn't hold back. He never holds back. And I think that's one of the things that I've always liked about Trump is because he just, man, he doesn't care. It's like, let's go over and see what this guy here has got. I know he had some story earlier I was wanting to look at. There was a story going on with, Bill and Hillary Clinton refused to go to Congress and testify. Their lawyer said something about, and this guy, look here, they're trying to arrest an illegal right here. You see this? Watch this. And this is what they're talking about, guys. Look. Now, they would have had every right to probably do what they wanted to with this guy. Watch him. He's using his car as a weapon. Look. Of course, these officers are not standing in front of him. They moved out of the way. This is wild, man. These people don't care. They bust his window out. But this is not a protest group. This is actually a illegal criminal, illegal migrant, whatever you want to call them.
Right here with Reaction ICE Director Todd Lyons.
Yeah.
Todd, I mean, if that doesn't educate the public about these ramming incidents, I don't know what else will, on top of what happened. Previously, we now have 3 in recent days. Very dangerous now. Do you tie a lot of this danger to the rhetoric of people like Tim Walz, who compares ICE to Gestapo?
Yeah, Sean, unfortunately, when we hear elected officials,
this is wild, man.
Individuals to impede or obstruct.
I think Tennessee had a protest. Memphis, Tennessee, in Memphis.
That was a video you're probably not going to see on mainstream media, right?
Wasn't many protests in Tennessee, I don't believe I've heard of.
And agents attempting to apprehend a criminally illegal alien, and there they are using their weapon.
Atlanta, they had some protests in Atlanta over the weekend.
The ICE vehicle, the gray one that was struck, that officer had to go to the hospital with neck injuries. And every day, Sean, this is what the men and women of ICE are facing. It's constant impediments, constant.
He had to go, really? He had to go to the hospital over that little tap? No offense, but that don't seem like he would have had neck injuries over that.
These groups that have instructions.
Sounds like he needs to toughen up.
And basically,
I've been in a car wreck. I've hit the windshield. I've busted. Trust me.
You're closely aware.
That right there was nothing. You get hit by someone doing about 40 mile an hour, 45, like I did, head on. Oh man, it's awful.
Should those people be arrested?
100%, Sean. Any law enforcement officer will tell you, it's a constitutional right, go out there and protest. But when you have organized criminal gangs, which these are,
organized criminal
to again impede or obstruct law enforcement operations.
I don't agree with that.
Law enforcement nations,
they're organized, but I don't believe they're gangs. I don't believe that.
Homeland
I believe
Security
they're
investigations,
organized
my
groups,
folks, the FBI,
but they're not
we're
gangs.
investigating these, and people can be held accountable because you can't organize.
I grew up in the
groups to
ghetto.
go out
Seriously,
and
I
impede
know
law
what a gang
enforcement.
is.
You know, it's a criminal act, and we have to act swiftly.
Yeah, it's a
to-
criminal
to,
act,
you know,
but they're not a
stop this from
gang.
spreading.
You
I
have a
disagree with
response
that.
to Philadelphia's DA threatening to prosecute ICE agents, which, by the way, is not constitutional. But putting that aside, you have a response to that DA?
You know, Sean, what I'll say is the men and women of ICE, the men and women of ERO, the men and women of HSI, they're not committing any crimes. So he doesn't have to worry about arresting any of my folks, because what we're doing is we're enforcing the law. We are out there every day making this nation and his city safe again. So he shouldn't worry about.
If you're
the
a
women of ICE.
peaceful
What he should worry
protester,
about
why do you
is
come
the
out in a
sanctuary.
gas mask? Why do you come out in a gas mask? Why do you come out with, you know, microphones and everything, or radios to blast music? In the whistle situation, they keep blowing these whistles and whistles. That's a shame, man. Because I'll tell you what, the whistle thing is kind of, you know, that was always a woman's thing. If a woman was in trouble, you know, they blow a whistle, get someone's attention. Now these protesters are normalizing blowing whistles so much. Maybe it's like the boy called, you know, cried wolf or something. You know what I mean? Like maybe there won't be any attention to the woman now if she really needs help. And they're annoying as hell, the whistles.
Looking for gangbangers, looking for criminals and cartel members. They go to
Let's see what
wherever's
Joe Rogan's
easiest
saying.
pickings so they can get numbers up. There's do you know Ed Calderon? Do you know who he is? He worked. He was a Mexican military guy who now is an American citizen, but he reports extensively on the cartels, and just was telling me some horror stories about ICE raids. And one of them was they took this guy who had been brought over here when he was a baby, but didn't have American citizenship. His family, you know, came over here illegally, lived here for 20 years, can't speak Spanish. They
Really? Live here for 20 years and still can't speak Spanish?
Can't speak Spanish.
That's crazy. After living here for 20 years, you still can't. Oh, he can't speak Spanish? Or, oh, okay.
He is
okay. He can't speak Spanish.
essentially an American citizen.
I get it. Okay. He speaks English. This is what I have an issue with. Like Ilhan Omar. She says she's been here 30 years since she was a little girl. And she still she still can't speak hardly. I mean, she speaks English, but it's like jibber jabber. You know what I mean? Like, who the fuck lives here for 30 years and you still can't speak English? Or if you do speak English, most people can't even understand what she's saying. Man, I mean, they're big time on trying to remove this lady.
Never lived anywhere else. He just doesn't have the paperwork. He's not a criminal. They sent him over to Tijuana, and now he has to live in Mexico. He doesn't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah,
he's on the street.
He doesn't speak
He has
Spanish.
no idea. He doesn't have any money.
See, that's crazy.
Then they start showing up at Home Depot. Instead of
Did you see that? Did you hear what he just said? So a guy that was brought over here as a kid had lived here 20 years. Man. Doesn't speak Spanish. Only speaks English. But he's illegal. Never been in a crime. Never been in trouble. Is that the people we need to deport? When he was brought over here as a baby? Now, I know a lot of people can argue and say yes, no, yes, no. I'm asking you guys to let me know what you think. Now he's stuck. They sent him over there. He's stuck in Tijuana, stuck in Mexico. Doesn't speak Spanish. Has, like Joe said, has no money, has nothing. What do you do in a situation like that? You're not familiar with nobody, nothing, no family. That's a tough situation, man. I mean, the vetting process, you know, it's wild, man. I don't know. It's how do you take that out? How do you know what I mean? Like, let's see what they're saying here. Let's see what these people are going to say. Because we always like to show what other news outlets say. Because I really like to get other people's opinions, you know, and I want everybody to see what other people's opinions are.
They sent these ICE agents onto our streets against the wishes of the Minneapolis police chief. So here's the numbers. There are like 600 sworn in officers in Minneapolis and 550 or so in St. Paul. So you the ICE agents are literally overwhelming our own police force. This is not LA. This is not Chicago. And Minnesota is right now the center of America.
How do they overwhelm your police force? If you worked with them, if Minnesota would work with them, they wouldn't overwork them. The regular police can go and do their regular day job. If you're not going to work with them, leave them alone and let them go and do their job. I think she's saying they're overworking, they're overwhelming them, overworking them. Why? Because every protester is calling into the local police department saying there's ICE agents here. So there's ICE agents over here. There's ICE agents over here. That's what they're doing. So when they say, oh, they're overworking or overwhelming our officers, well, the lady at the lady taking the calls at the police department needs the reception, whatever she is, needs to say, hey, if it has to do with ICE, stop calling. We already know they're here.
America's heartbreak. This has been going on everywhere, and they have chosen to use this $75 billion.
Well, they went in somebody's home. Well, they got a warrant. I promise you, these people have warrants for certain people. And if that suspect is in that home and puts that address down, or they investigate and he's suspected to be in that home, and they know legit, if they know true hard facts that he's there or she's there or whatever in that home, and they have a warrant, they're allowed to go in that house.
$1 million budget and put it into our state. So the suit says basically we've had to put $2 million.
This is the issue. Every time the ICE officers pull up, you got people following them to alert everybody in that neighborhood. So everybody wants to come out and make a spectacle of it, and a big, fair carnival of fucking, people. And this is what puts the ICE officers in danger when they're pulling it. Well, we're just trying to protect our neighborhood, our neighbors. Really? You want to protect people like that?
To try to deal with this. There are videos of people calling the police saying, what are we supposed to do? These people are out.
Yeah, calling. That's why they're overwhelmed. It's because every time they see an ICE officer, they're calling the fucking police saying, what am I supposed to do? There's an officer in the road. Go back to work. Shut up and sit down. Watch TV if that's what you're doing. You don't do nothing. These people should be telling them, stay in your home. They're not after you. Don't get in their way.
Outside of our
but they're not doing that, right?
And we ordered DoorDash.
Because we see it clearly. Look at everybody in the streets. Look at everybody that comes out. Look at all the people following them.
So that's what's happening here, and of course resulting in
one guy
killing of.
I seen one guy. I was like, I'm just trying to do my job and deliver things, and I'm like, well, you shouldn't be a criminal, dude. I get it that you're working. Yeah, criminals work too. Trust me. You're doing your job, okay. You're delivering food and stuff. I can't even get through. I can't even get through here because of that and this. And then they pull him over. I'm like, well, you should not be breaking the law.
Renee Good, mom of 3.
Really, it only had one kid because the other two, you didn't have custody of the other two, though, did she? No one asked why she didn't have custody of the other two. And Renee Good was not your upstanding citizen. I've got the report on her. She was supposed to turn herself in Monday to go do time. She's got a lengthy criminal record. They're trying to make her out to be this like George Floyd, the second George Floyd coming. I'm surprised they ain't made a statue of her yet.
A doctor to come in when that horrific killing occurred.
Let's see here. Let's go to someone else here. Let's go back home. Let's see what they're saying here.
My way, I will arrest you.
So we're just.
Oh yeah, this is the one that says.
You can observe all you want.
I am observing. Do you see me in the way? I am bad.
You had anger issues as a kid, didn't you?
I mean, this is just on police. Listen to what he tells them though. Listen to what he says, because he's going to talk about his high school education. This officer. They're going to make a remark to him. Quit your job or go get another job, but this job pays something else. Well, listen, this is funny what he tells them. Because this lady, if you really had an education, lady, a college degree, making $200K a year, why are you in the streets trying to protest or trying to, do this?
You should be ashamed of yourself, man.
Why? Because he's serving his country?
Not my job, thank you.
I love my job.
Your job?
I can't believe I get paid for this.
Yeah.
Really?
He said, I can't believe I get paid for this. He said, I'd do it for free. Listen to him.
I do this for free.
Hey, here.
I'm a physician assistant.
I'm a physician assistant, she said. That means you're just a fucking secretary, lady. You're an assistant. You're somebody's assistant. You're not getting paid $200,000 a year for being an assistant.
How long did you go to school for that?
Yeah.
Over 7 years.
Over 7 years, I went to school to be somebody's assistant. You could have done that for free.
To high school.
He said, I only went to high school. I'm making $200K a year.
Someone valuable in society. What about you? Is yours expertise? No.
He is valuable to society. He's doing the work that a lot of people refuse to do. That's funny. Blow the whistles. Oh my God, that whistle shit is ridiculous. I don't even know why you're on my page. Oh, somebody else shared it. I don't even follow all these people, man. These are just, you know, this is where they pulled the woman out of her car yesterday. She was following them.
Now they're going in.
She was following them. She was impeding traffic. She was doing all kinds of shit with them. She wouldn't stop following these ICE officers. This is a clip that's been going around viral because they're saying, well, look how they treated her. Look how they treated her. So we'll show it to you here.
Doctor's appointment. See, they bust the windows. Now they're going into the car. They've opened the door.
That's terrible. It's terrible. What are they pulling around? Look at that. Let everybody see this. Is this an investigation of domestic terrorism, or is this a civil rights matter? This guy Thompson is hugely regarded, highly regarded. Yes. Stanford educated. He's the prosecutor who said that Biden screwed up with the documents, but that he was too senile in a sense to prosecute him. But he's like the hero of the Twin Cities, Thompson. Everybody likes him. And now he and his entire senior staff are quitting.
See how many are here in the background, though? See how many officers? They have to be there like that. That's why they're sending in more of them. Because you have all these people, and not just reporters. These are like regular people with cameras. They're independent like I am and Nick Shirley and all these other people. And here's the thing. When they pull somebody over, how come there's already 50 people right there on them? Because there ain't just one person following them. There's a ton of people following the ICE officers, these agents, these ICE agents. There's a ton of people following them and trying to, you know, and this lady was, you know, trying to block them and impede them, all this. So what they do? They just got out and said, we'll just arrest you for what you're doing. You're impeding, you're breaking the law by, you know, interfering in an investigation. And it is an investigation. They're hunting down criminals. You might as well be harboring fugitives, basically.
The federal prosecutors in Minneapolis, let me say it again, have quit. They just quit.
Yeah.
So they
walked off.
Those prosecutors have made their judgment about what you're seeing.
Yeah, they said it was, well, we know they're from Minneapolis. They're the federal prosecutors in Minneapolis walked out and quit. 6 of them. Yeah. So Trump sending in more federal prosecutors. He said, because I guess they didn't agree with the way they were doing it. Well, then the leaders need to tell these people to go home and let these ICE officers do their job. And there wouldn't be so much media. There wouldn't be so much ruckus and shit.
Federal prosecutors
Just my
have
opinion.
seen this and said, wait a second. This is a civil rights matter that we have to probe. A 37-year-old mother is dead. What we're seeing here, this bullying.
That ain't bullying.
I don't know how you could see this and think that sending 2,000 ICE agents into the city, 2,000 ICE agents, and there's only 600 local cops in Minneapolis. 600 cops police Minneapolis daily all year long. 600.
Almost like, what do you think is going to happen? And the answer is what we're watching.
What do you think is going to happen? This is what's going to happen.
Perhaps everybody should mind their business. Perhaps people should, you know, stay out of law enforcement's way. Man, we got it going on all over the place, guys. Bam, bam, there. See what he says. A 21-year-old in Santa Ana, lost vision in one eye after being struck by a DHS less lethal round at close range, requiring 6 hours of surgery to remove debris from his face. My Lord. FAFO. Look at that. Look at his face. See his face? Yeah, it's bloody, ain't it? My goodness. How about you not throw stuff at the officers, man? How about you not pick up something and use it as a weapon? Common sense. It's common sense. That's a little rough, ain't it? Let's see what she's saying here.
We want them out of our state.
We want them out of our state, out of our city.
Out of our district.
We want them out of our district. Let's see what she's saying here.
We want ICE out of our district. We want them out of our state. We want this terror to stop. The lives of people are being interrupted, and it is not justifiable.
Tell your people to
target our state,
continue their everyday life,
the beautiful state of Minnesota.
not to interrupt them.
We want ICE out.
Why is it a beautiful state of Minnesota? Because they're always, seems like there's a lot of shit there, man. There's a lot of mess going on. What's he talking about?
And
Mike Johnson claims that ICE officers, let's see what he's saying here. Mike Johnson, claims that ICE officers who shot and Renee Nicole Good was very patient. This is Democrat. I don't even know why they're up here. I don't follow these people. ICE shot, Renee Good in the face and then called her the one that shot her didn't call her that. You can hear it in the video, but it was the other officer. I have looked into that.
Investigators, that's how these things work. And we'll find this out. What I saw, the angle that I saw was this woman was taunting ICE officers. She was impeding law enforcement. She was violating a number of laws in doing so. They were very patient and asked her multiple times to remove her vehicle and stop impeding their operation. And
yeah, well, we know most people are just going to. Let me look for that one news outlet there. I'm looking for that one. There's a let's see the name of that. Dan Bongino, the Bible. Let's see. That's what it is. That's where I wanted to see it at. Yes. Right here. Now, we're going to look at this one for a minute. I want to show you something over here. There was the interview this morning. Let's see if I can find it.
And there's litigation that has gone through the courts that does.
Let's see. There was a where he did interview Jacob. This idiot. Have you guys heard what he said? Do you know what Don Lemon has said about the situation? Let's see. This is what Don Lemon thinks.
Is this what you voted for, MAGA? You fucking idiots.
Ooh, he's cussing. He's mad, ain't he?
Is this what you voted for? Why would you even want this job? Is your ego and your penis, are they that small that you feel that you have to harass people in order to feel like a man or to feel strong? Is this what you voted for?
Yeah.
Is this what you voted for?
To get all the illegals out of this country. All the criminals in the places where they need to be. Jail, prison. If they're illegal, they need to go home.
Maybe it is. And if you did, then you're a cruel, heartless bastard.
Man, he acts like he's such high pedestal, doesn't he? But he's the one up here cussing and saying some crazy stuff. I don't get it. Really? You're going to sit here and say all this stuff, but then you're going to sit here and call everybody else a degenerate? How the hell do you justify that? Breaking. Let's see. Yeah, the head coach of somebody quit or something. Steelers, I guess they said. I want to see the interview. I know it's on here somewhere. Let's find it. The interview. Trump is signed bill allowing schools to offer whole and 2% milk. Anti-ICE rally, California Democrats. Okay, Alex. Yeah, he's another one, man. He's something else. Yes, we have what she's saying. Let's see.
Trump administration is using.
Let's see what she's saying. She come out. Democrats didn't even show up to the hearing they were supposed to show up to. Also, we got that as well going on.
I think so long as the Republican Party and the Trump administration is using ICE to attack American citizens and shoot mothers in the face, I'm not willing to have a conversation with them about any other bad faith attempts to terrorize U.S. citizens. I think so long as the Republican Party and the
So we know her thoughts, right? We know her opinions. Let's see. I got to find this clip. Let me see if I can find this interview. Because this Jacob Frey, or whatever his name is, this mayor, he is just, of course, he does put the situation out. He's like, I don't get what right here. Let's see. He avoids a lot of it. Let's see. This is the interview he did this morning. Let's see.
We are anti-murder. We are anti.
Let's see what he's saying here.
In Minneapolis and in Minnesota, we are anti-murder. We are anti.
Well, we are everywhere,
we are
buddy.
for improving the safety wherever we can. And by the way, we have worked with administrations, both present.
We want to
and
protect our
past,
neighbors.
to drive down crime. We've worked with the DEA.
We're
ATF,
protecting our
the
neighbors,
FBI
guys.
to prosecute and charge violent crime. We've worked to get perpetrators of violent gun crime off the street, narcotics off the street. In fact, the work that was conducted was so successful, it resulted in the lowest number of shootings on record on, for instance, the North Side.
Don't forget to hit the like button, the subscribe, support the channel, guys.
Crime. But the truth is that this ain't about that. If this were about that, we'd have many important areas where there would be areas where we could.
This is just a clip of it.
This, however, is the largest.
Damn it! I was hoping to see the whole
action on record in the United States. And so I would just ask you, why is the largest scale immigration enforcement action taking place where we don't even have that many undocumented immigrants?
Really?
In Texas or Florida?
Really?
Or
they are everywhere.
We do actually have those large numbers of undocumented immigrants.
Listen to what he says.
That's where it would actually make more sense. But again, if the issue is murder or crime, the answer is
shut up and let him speak.
The federal government. In fact, we're present.
And he goes on to say, see, they stopped it. They wouldn't let him, but he did speak. He said, well, they were in Louisiana, and they didn't do what you're doing. They didn't do none of that. Now look here, people are making drawings. Fox News. Let's see.
Left the meeting about 20 minutes ago here at the White House. I can't say a lot, but let me say this. Okay. We are aware of this coordinated effort. We are aware that this is being financed. We are aware that there are actual groups well coordinated to attack the men and women of ICE and to try to prevent them from doing their jobs. Accountability is coming. Because we're working very closely with DOJ.
Accountability is coming, they say.
We're doing a deep dive into this.
So they're they're investigating these groups.
We'll investigate
these
groups.
They're doing a deep dive.
Justice is coming to these people.
You hear that?
Orders are Tom Homan.
Man, it needs to be. Yeah, Renee Good's father, Trump says, I love all our people. Well, maybe he should have raised her a little better, you know? Maybe not to do none of that dumb shit, my opinion.
From people like the mayor and the governor and members of Congress, I said back in March, Harris, I think it was on your show, if the hateful rhetoric doesn't decrease, there's going to be bloodshed. Right. And unfortunately, I was right. And I'm telling you here today, it's not over. Now the rhetoric is even tripled. Now they're saying they're murderers. They went beyond Nazis and secret police. Now they're saying ICE is murdering people. Death threats against me alone have tripled. I mean, I had one yesterday, which is a little different. They don't want to kill me. They want to kill my family.
No.
They tear my soul out so I suffer the rest of my life. These people are unhinged, but they need to know we're going to keep doing this job because we're arresting the
threatening his family's life and him. That's Tom Homan reveals the number of district deportations since last January. Let's see what he says. Since last January, saying we're at about 660,000 actually deportations. Okay.
Have you on the program today. Let's start with some big numbers that I want to get you to comment on. 2.5 million people have left this country, either by DHS removing them or they've self-deported. Talk to me, among them, how many were criminals and what kind of success are you having?
Well, as far as the self-deportations, one's left unknown. I don't have that data, but I can tell you We're about 650 to 660 actual deportation. We actually put hands on somebody and remove them. And the last
660,000 people they've actually
are criminals.
Arrested
of thousands
and deported.
Of criminal public safety.
I think they did say there were like 2 million or 1 million or something that deported self-deported.
Illegal aliens that we have deported. Actually arrested and deported. So, of course, every criminal alien public safety threat we take off the street makes the community much safer. So President Trump's keeping his promise to American people, making this country safe again.
Yeah, and by that math, I'm looking at about 400,000 people then that would have had criminal records. That's
out of 600,000, 660,000, 400,000 criminal records. Man, that's a lot. Woo. Okay. Yeah, let's go down here and see what this young lady's saying.
And there's litigation that has gone through the courts that does weigh in for the federal government's role here. Joe Rogan, he's got questions about what's happening, and it's probably echoing what many people are thinking. So let's listen to him and get your reaction.
I see the perspective of the people that say, hey, there was an illegal program moving people in here to get votes, moving people in here to get congressional seats, and we've got to change that. I can also see the point of view of the people that say, yeah, but you don't want militarized people in the streets just roaming around, snatching people up, many of which turn out to actually be U.S. citizens that just don't have their papers on them. Are we really going to be the Gestapo? Where's your papers?
They don't. Okay, I'm going to argue that with Joe, because here's the thing. I even watched a video of a guy. He said, I was stopped. I was pulled out of my car, not violently. I was arrested. They took me and I'm from another country. And after they did investigate, they ran his name and all that. They seen that he had his papers. He was legal now. They let him go. He said, you're in there for a couple of hours if you do get arrested. So they're not just pulling people out like these people think and saying, oh, you're going, and they're disappearing like these Democrats want you to think. The Democrats want you to think that they're just sending them off to some dark hole somewhere in another country. No. If you're legal and you have the right to be in this country and you're from another country, you got your documents or your papers, maybe you don't have them on you, but if you have a license or something, they run your name within an hour or two, like this other guy said. This immigrant said, he said, they let me go. So when they are investigating, that's part of the investigation, right? Is to do the due diligence. Like I would think I prefer, now listen, if I was from another country and I was legal and I had my, my documents and all that, but I didn't have them on me. I had my driver's license and all that stuff. And they pulled me out and arrested me and took me to the jail or whatever, their facility. Guess what? Yes, you may be sitting in a room for a couple hours, but they're going to run your docs. They're going to see if you're legal. And as soon as you are, they release them people. I'm telling you, a guy made a statement and said that. And I watched a video on, and I'm telling you, they're not just taking these citizens and sending them to, now the criminals and the illegals that are here illegally that don't have papers. Yes, they're arresting them and they're putting them in holding cells, and then they probably transport them somewhere else to a different state, and then they're probably transporting them back out of the country, which is what they're supposed to do. That's their job. That's what the orders they've been giving. Joe thinks, I shouldn't say that.
So I know you and I talk a lot about communications and PR, and how would the department respond to that concern that he raised?
Well, this answer is very straightforward. If Tim Walsh, if Mayor Fry would let us in their jails, we wouldn't have to be there at all.
Exactly.
Currently, there are 680 criminal illegal aliens. Dana, that includes murderers, that includes rapists, child pedophiles, people who, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, you would never want these people to be on your streets or your neighbors. That's the people who we are targeting and we're trying to get out of Minneapolis. Because we don't have state and local law enforcement's help, we do have to have a physical presence on the ground there. And I know in the interview as well, and what Joe Rogan just mentioned is the rampant crime we found, more than $9 billion, and we believe that's just the tip of the iceberg. If the state and local government would help there, if they would coordinate with the FBI, if they would coordinate
they
with
don't, because they're either complicit or playing dumb with the fraud. And like they said, what's this really about? Well, it's about the more people they got, the more illegals they have in their communities, the more their voting districts go up, the more they get votes, the longer they get to stay as governor, mayor, into power. So I don't think it's just about, hey, we're helping these people out, they're refugees and all this. Trump signed that thing saying, "Nuh-uh, I'm taking all the Somalian status away," since, I've got the clip somewhere. We'll find it.
Security investigations, we would, on an expedited basis, be finding that fraud.
Yeah,
and I think
maybe
that
if
all
they
Americans
help.
would be better off for it. We want to give
Exactly.
accountability.
All Americans would be better off to
get
get these criminals out. 668 or 660, she said, of bad people, like, they're just harbored and they're just sitting there. Let's see if the White House has released that yet. I want to see. Salty, I hope you're doing pretty good, buddy. I hope you're doing real good, to tell you the truth. I always do. Where's everyone? Well, since they demonetized my channel and they took away my advanced features and setting all my advanced features, but I did have to verify my channel the other day. And now they say they gave them back to me, but I can't find anybody they're not obviously pushing my content. They're not going to obviously push it if, you know what I mean? Like YouTube is being really touchy. See, it says, congrats. You can use advanced YouTube features now. So I had to update my YouTube because they took them away. Okay, your channel has lost access to advanced features. That's what they did to me last week. Well, I had to re-verify my stuff. Well, when I re-verified my stuff, now they sent me the things. Now I have my advanced features back. But for some reason, I can't get in the algorithms. You know what I mean? Like, it's not letting me get into the algorithms. What streaming? StreamYard. I got StreamYard. I'm still with StreamYard. I don't get it, man. It's YouTube. It's not me. I promise you, they're not wanting to push my content. You know me. I usually got 200 to 500 people, at least in the vertical. I can't get 3 people in here. It's a damn shame. I was going to try to find that clip. We were going to show that clip of Trump's statement the other day. This is a good one here, too, though. Yeah. It is what it is, man. I just have to build it back. You know what I mean? Try to get back in the algorithms.
What's the end game?
The end game is to win. I like winning.
How do you define that in Iran?
Well, let's define it in Venezuela. Let's define it with al-Baghdadi. He was wiped out. Let's define it with Soleimani. And let's define it in Iran, where he wiped out their Iran nuclear threat. They want to have protests. That's one thing. When they start killing thousands of people, and now you're telling me about hanging, we'll see how that works out for them. It's not going to work out good. We're building more plants in the country than we've ever built. There's no inflation. You saw the inflation numbers. Inflation is very low.
It seems bad.
Our growth numbers are through the roof. Our job numbers are tremendous. We have the highest stock market we've ever had. I've created the greatest economy maybe in history, and you're seeing that now. In AI, we're leading China by a lot. We're leading China by a tremendous amount. We're leading everybody at everything. I would bet you that she, under normal circumstances, was a very solid, wonderful person, but her actions were pretty tough. But the bottom line is, look, we have hundreds of thousands of murderers in our countries, killers. ICE is trying to get them out.
Every action has a reaction, guys. And all her actions that day led up to that one reaction. Yeah, maybe it shouldn't have happened, but maybe her actions, she shouldn't have, her actions shouldn't have happened as well.
Job is being made very, very difficult. I inherited a mess of crime. I inherited a mess of inflation. I inherited a mess of places closing up and going to other countries. And now we have the hottest country in the world. Our country is rocketing right now. We have the hottest country in the world. If they got in, we would be Venezuela on steroids.
He loves saying that, He does. He loves to say that. I was trying to find that clip. Trump is he's the GOAT. You either like him or you don't. That's fine.
Stagflation catastrophe. But my administration's rapidly.
Okay. Almost no inflation, super high growth. Let's see.
So we have the highest growth we've ever had. Think of that. The highest growth we've ever had. Core inflation for the past. many years. The fourth.
Okay, let's see. Let's go back to the White House. If you don't follow the White House on X, you should, because I'm telling you, man, they put out a lot of good stuff, a lot of information too that you wouldn't even think. Yeah, Trump says the United States needs. Okay, this is what I was wanting to see. The United States needs Greenland for the purpose of national security. It is vital for the Golden Dome. Yep, that we are building. NATO should be leading the way for us to get it. If we don't, Russia or China will, and that is not going to happen. Military without the vast power of the United States, much of which I built during my first term, and now bringing to a new and even higher level. NATO would not be an effective force or deterrent, not even close. They know that, and so do I, he says. NATO becomes far more formidable, and effective with Greenland in the hands of the United States. Anything less than that is unacceptable. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Yeah, I mean, it's just, we bought land in the past. The United States has took land and bought it, and, we've done things. We're not the only country either, Here's some clips. I wanted to see some of these. I wanted to all the Iranian patriots. Okay, he says that. Yes, we are speaking on that this morning. Let's see what he says here. I hate that it always jumps back to that. I don't know if it'll hit me or not.
To all Iranian patriots, keep protesting, take over your institutions if possible, and save the name of the killers and the abusers that are abusing you. You're being very badly abused. If the numbers are right now, I hear 5 different sets of numbers. I hear numbers. Look, 1 death is too much, but I hear much lower numbers, and then I hear much higher numbers. But I say save their names because they'll pay a very big price. And I've canceled all meetings with the Iranian officials until the senseless killing of protesters stops. And all I say to them is help is on its way. You saw that I put tariffs on anybody doing business with Iran.
Yeah.
Just went into effect today.
Yeah, he did do that.
I say make Iran great again. It was a great country until these monsters came in and took it over.
Yeah, he's put a lot of tariffs on any business that has done any business with Iran. He's putting tariffs on. Is that a deterrent? I don't know. Sometimes it works, I believe. Sometimes I don't believe it works. Some people don't care. Some people just don't even care to pay the tariffs, And this one is, I promise you. Okay. Let's see which one he says. This one at. Okay. In Michigan. Okay. I promised you 25% tariff on all foreign automobiles. Okay. Let's see. There's one he was talking about. There was one I wanted to show. Let's see. Look at that. Yeah, that's a tribute to that guy, Scott Adams. He did pass away yesterday, I believe. Yeah, he was there at the White House. He was actually friends with President Trump. And when Scott Adams never changed his opinion on Trump, they took his book deal. They fired him. He lost a lot of stuff, a lot of endorsements, a lot of things. But he never gave up. He never changed his wave. He never stopped, speaking the truth of what he spoke about Trump and all this other stuff. He never stopped. Trump administration ends temporary protection status for those. This is what I wanted to show. Yes. The Somali immigrant community. Trump administration ends temporary protected status for thousands of Somalians in the U.S. Yep. Several thousand Somali nationals currently living in the U.S. must leave the country by March the 17th. So he's given them a date. Now they're going to have to get out.
Minnesota is a sanctuary city. So DHS law enforcement, we're not allowed to engage with their local law enforcement.
They're not
allowed in their jails.
They're not allowed in their jails.
Law enforcement are not allowed to respond to backup to our officers.
So
what we've been seeing is a highly coordinated campaign of violence against our law enforcement officers. Just last week alone, there were 10 vehicle rammings. That's a deadly weapon used against our law enforcement. We've seen 1,000% increase in assaults against them. So, Chris, why it's really important that we surge law enforcement is so that our law enforcement officers are still able to conduct their operations. They're still able to go after these criminal illegal aliens and get them off of the streets. But in order to do so, They need to be able to conduct their operations in a safe way, safe for the law enforcement officers themselves, safe for the public, and safe for the protesters as well. So what we've been doing is bringing these law enforcement officers to protect these law enforcement as they're conducting their operations. That's the reason for the surge. But Chris, if I may, I want to back up and say, why are we in Minneapolis to begin with? It's because we've seen through our Homeland Security investigations rampant fraud. We've seen rampant criminal illegal alien activity. We've arrested more than 2,000 criminal illegal aliens in the last just 5 weeks alone in Minneapolis. When Secretary Noem was there just last week,
more than 2,000.
We arrested a murderer from Ecuador, multiple child pedophiles, a kidnapper, someone who was a perpetuator of domestic violence. These are the people we're going
they're
after,
hollering, we're protecting their neighbors. They're just protecting their neighbors. Really? That's the kind of neighbor you want? Seriously, like that's the kind of neighbor you want? You want to protect, criminals like that? Now, maybe you do, but I don't. Not as just an American citizen, but as a father of daughters. I'm not protecting anybody like that. I don't want to, they don't need to be in this country. If they are Americans, they need to be put in prison. So I don't know. I think it's not over. I can tell you that. There's a lot more that's going to be coming out of this. There's a lot of stuff that's just, it's not really, none of this is going to be over yet. They're just going on, and who knows when this will end.
Let's give the people what they came for. Let's fucking go. Get your special sock out, nerds. It's gonna get good.
I love that. You see my new hat? Possibly white. Possibly white. Possibly white. Because CNN and all these mainstream medias always like to say, oh, he's possibly white suspect. Really? And he's got a picture of him and he's completely not white. So I decided to have me a hat. Yes. I don't know. I've been going for about an hour and a half. Nobody's on here. Pretty sad. Man, YouTube, what are you doing to me? You got to do better. Got to do better. It says my advanced features are back. So please put me back in the algorithm. We got to get this channel up. Like I said, I got a few more months and I can, try to get my monetization back. Hopefully that works out. We're going to end the live right here this morning, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoy the channel. I hope you subscribe. You like it. I hope you share this out. Yes, we got sirens in the background, guys. Stuff going on, I guess, down the road. We're sitting here. Let's see. Yeah. Like I said, we got all kinds of things going on. We're trying to get back in the algorithm. Come on, YouTube. I'm going to give you applause. We need to get you back, get this, Oh, they're booing YouTube, huh? No, don't boo YouTube. We need to get back in the algorithms. We need to get this channel pushed back out. We need to get the viewership up. We need to get the chat up. Guys, I'm doing everything I can. It's not going to work. YouTube is really shadow banning me right now. And it's a shame, like I usually got, 500 people in the vertical. I've got, somewhat people in the, it's like, they're not even allowing people's notifications or anything to come on. So, we're trying to, get back into that algorithm. I'm telling you, if you got a channel, monetized channel, you better go read the 2026 terms and service, what you can and what you can't say anymore on YouTube. They did that to me. They sent me that letter. They said, I've got to build a happy channel, like more positive, happy content. I'm like, really? I'm not doing anything no one else is doing. I'm doing the same thing as any other independent media or politic channel or political channel speaking about. I'm speaking about the same issues. I show a lot of the same content that everybody else shows. How come you want to shadow ban my channel? Because I speak the truth? There's a ton of people that speak the truth out there. So if you have a monetized channel, guys, you better be careful. Like I said, I'm going to try to do better. I think I am doing better. You just have to, get pushed back in the algorithms. And right now my channel's not in the algorithms. It's down. So we're going to get it though. I don't care what they say. I'm going to get it back out there. It's going to get in the algorithms. I'll have this back before you know it. I'll have hundreds of people back in here. We're going to do that. Failure is not an option for me. Success, I will always be successful at everything I do. Even if I fail, I'll come back. Yeah, I know, man. You say that all the time. I get it. Trust me. I understand what you're saying. If you'd have been here earlier watching my whole show, you'd have seen that. But like I said, we got to get pushed in the algorithms. We got to get people to share these live streams out. Because, like I said, they've shadow banned me. They took away my advanced features. Now they say they gave it back to me. But I still can't get, my audience back in here. Usually I have 400 or 500 in the vertical, 30 to 100 in the chat. We got to get the algorithms back. We got to start getting people back into this channel. They need to hear. They need to see what's going on out there. They need to see all this stuff. They need to understand what's happening in America. So if you're one of those followers or subscribers, guys, make sure you share the content out. If you're new here, thank you. Subscribe to the channel. That helps out tremendously. And if you actually want to support the channel so I can build more stuff and actually grow this channel more, right there going across the screen is the way you can support it. So I just want to say thank you, and I will be back on soon. We will be doing a live stream later on. Stay in your lane or crash the damn thing.